Dude,
Yeah.
I told myself this week 3 times, I shit you not, you cannot have a stroke. Like, I was like on my laptop, like, oh, I think I'm gonna die. You don't even know like what's next. So you got into the industry at the worst possible time.
That's what everybody's saying, but that, like,
No, you don't understand.
I'm just naive enough that it just doesn't make sense to me. But I also think you could generate all the leads in the world, but if you don't know how to sell or you don't know how to find people's motivation, you can't. Like, yeah, AI could do everything we can, but there's a reason why people work with you versus them naturally. So how do you compete
Said
with
every
AI?
small business until Amazon said we do 2-day shipping. But relationships only matter until convenience and price can beat out the relationship. We literally have about 3 to 5 years to beat Zillow. Otherwise, it's
Well, we're not
over.
gonna beat them.
In the evolution of real estate and the development of self-improvement, I had to bring my prodigy in for the relaunch and the rebranding of everything we're doing on social media. Social media is crushing. Shout out to Neil Home for really validating that at an event in Vegas and really bringing to light what we had to do to get everything going forward. But as your coach, I can't say enough. I'm proud of you. I think I text you that once a day.
Twice.
Twice a day. I comment on it. No, but I really am, because you actually you said it yesterday when you were telling me about the new coaching program you're potentially going to jump into, where you said that guy said you're actually going to do it.
Right.
So, I mean, aside from certain things, most of the business implements, you actually take them and you run with them.
Right.
And so to see you develop from like that shy, innocent girl who like walked in and just had complete fear in her eyes to like now you're just like bubbly and ready to go after it.
Yeah.
It's been awesome to watch you develop.
Thank you. No, I think I've lost a lot of the fear and just all of it. Like, I think a little bit of me is naive enough to know that I'll be able to do it, and I have nothing to lose at this point. Like, it's just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm at the point now where it's like what you say kind of, I don't know the big word for it, but like over trumps what anybody else says. Because it's like I'm learning from somebody that's at the pace and at the place where I want to be. So everything anybody else says just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, and what's crazy is you don't give yourself credit for like most people want to be where you're at.
Yeah.
Like
But
you're the gold standard for most people. Like your production in a month is equivalent of most people's year.
right, but I don't see it like that. Like everybody says that, but it's like when your goals are just so much bigger, it's hard to, and I'm sure you get it too. Like you're just constantly like, okay, I'm barely there. I'm like falling behind, or I'm right there. And it's like you keep moving. Everybody's like, enjoy the fruits of your labor, which I'm getting better at.
Yeah.
But the whole like, you're doing really good. Like you're 22. I'm going to have to say 23 in a month, and that makes me want to die.
So you know how young that is?
No.
For what you've accomplished?
Yeah, I guess.
Dude,
But
22? That means frat parties, sorority parties, 500 FICOs.
no, I want an
Screaming Hawk
800.
2 in the middle of the fucking street.
No. Well, I'm excited. I hope I get, my goal is to have an 800 FICO at that point. Be like,
You
all right,
need
we're
a house
good.
for that.
Yeah.
You need to have a mortgage payment.
For 800?
Yeah.
My dad has an 800. I was so mad when I saw it. I'm like, how the hell do you have an 800?
Your
He's
dad's
like
white?
830. White?
Yeah,
No,
I thought he was Mexican.
Yeah.
You said he has an 800 FICO?
He has like an 830.
What's his last name?
Palacios?
Smith?
Gardner? Yeah, no, he's Mexican.
Oh,
but he's
shit.
done good, yeah.
I don't know he was a part of my coaching program. Crazy.
Your credit repair?
No, I don't do that. No, shout out to your dad. That's a flex for your dad.
Yeah, he's done good.
Yeah.
He's doing really. They took this gamble on a rental property. I think that's what helped him. It's like evaluated now like 965, and he was like, "I'm a millionaire, you know that?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Did he pay it off already?
No,
Okay.
no, it's 7 acres. So he pulled out equity like 4 years ago,
Okay.
and he put manufactured on one of the acres. So now he has 2 properties.
Oh, smart. So he parceled it out.
Yeah, so he cash flows probably like 3,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
Between the main house and then the manufactured, because he's renting out the manufactured for like 22, and the main one I think is like over 25.
Oh, wow. Smart.
Yeah, his mortgage payment's not that much.
Dude, your dad figured it out. That's fucking amazing.
No, but my dad's very scared. Like I think that's where I would get it in the beginning too. Like he's not the type to do things on his own. So like he has that with my uncle. So he's like he'll do it, but he likes to know that like somebody's doing it with him. And I think for a while I was like that, like, well, I don't know if I should do that. Nobody else is doing it. And now I'm just like, I don't really care.
Yeah, that's pretty common though, especially if you don't know it. Like my first investment property I bought with somebody, and I was like, what a mistake that was.
Why was it a mistake?
Because now it's like everything's halfways. Whereas like once you have it set it up and running,
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, oh, I should have just done this by myself. I can easily do this.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is scary in investment property.
But then you like start. It's always easier to like go back and get partners, and like
Instead of a track record.
yeah, and I'm starting a flip company, and it was like, oh shit, like I need to have this and this and this aligned. But then I went to go get it all myself.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than having like an equity share where like I'm going half and half with somebody, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, fuck no. I'm the boss. I'm the point player. And
Right.
then all you guys are subordinate to me
Got it.
because then you can control everything. Like I had the AC break on one of my investment properties, and then it was like, well, who's paying for it? And I was like, well, we got to
Okay.
split it. And then the other motherfucker don't have 2,500 to drop on an AC. And it's like, okay.
Oh, that's
You
tough.
feel? So it's like,
Well, I just got off the phone with a client I closed months ago. Their AC broke in the high desert.
yeah,
And they're like, dude, we don't have AC. But old home warranty got it, which I thought was nice because I never actually used home warranty. They actually like code up their end.
oh, really?
Yeah. Because I had another client, they moved in and then they found mold behind their cabinets. And that was really bad. And home warranty was kind of just like, oh, you guys should have known. And I was like, how the hell were they supposed to know that? But with the AC, they're like covering it,
Oh, yeah.
which is cool.
How long after they closed did that?
I closed them probably in March. So what is that? 3-4 months? Well, I get it. You get the warranty for a year.
Okay.
So the seller pays for that.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
How, and since you just said a year, let's use this timeline. How's your business grown in the last year?
A lot. Like it's not even, I can't even compare. Like, okay, so I think in the beginning, and you can see it too, like I always think about it on my socials. In the beginning, I think I was like, this is what real estate can do for you. And I was trying to paint this picture of like, oh, I'm like this agent. Like my second year, I think I made like 106,000 GCI. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I made 6 figures, but that was like before taxes and all of that. And so I saw that I was kind of like writing that because it was working. Like obviously I was getting the views and the followers, but then I stopped posting because I felt a little bit like an imposter. I was like, all right, I'm saying all of this, but I'm literally living at my parents. Like I don't really have shit to say. Like, yeah, I'm this big baller, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think I took a step back, but that's when I went really hard on Instagram, which is what produces leads. And then that's when my business just skyrocketed. And then I was kind of at the point where it's like, oh, I'm kind of not bullshitting anymore.
Right.
And so now anything that anybody says, I don't care because it's like I am doing what I'm saying I'm doing. It's not like a lie.
Yeah, you're walking the walk. You have
Yeah.
the proof in the pudding.
Right. And people see that. Like there's this girl on TikTok, and I was talking to a TikTok friend about this too, is she sells the dream of real estate. Like I give her props. Homegirl's in her bag. But all she does is sell the dream of like, oh, you haven't passed your test? Buy my cheat sheet. Her cheat sheet's like $50, right? And so people are like, oh my gosh, yeah. So they're buying her cheat sheet. She gets a plaque
Smart.
from Shopify, like 60,000 orders. I did the math.
300,000.
It was like 3 million or 600,000. I don't know. It equivalent to $3 million over a $50 product. And I was like, I should maybe sell my soul. No, but it's, I think there's, that's, I think when you have to figure out like morals. Like I could easily do, that's the stuff that works best. Where I'm like, oh, I'm 22 and I'm making all this money and like, look at me.
Yeah.
That stuff works. It goes viral every time, but it doesn't sit right. You know, like I don't know how to explain it. Like I've gotten other agents that have called me and be like, hey, your video on TikTok, I just want to let you know, like that really resonated with me. And it was when I was going through like the tough stuff in the business. With,
What tough stuff?
like business relationships and
What
stuff.
business
No, let's not.
relationships?
You're an asshole. And so that stuff feels nicer. And I think on the long term, you can reap more benefits. Because if I sell you a $50 product today and then you go and you pass your real estate exam and you're like, oh, Angelica lied, it's actually not, I'm not making 6 figures, I'm not making this money. It's like, okay, well, like I just got you that's your lifetime value.
Right.
Versus I feel like if I just continue to grow them at the moment where I do drop a product or a course or mentorship, I feel like it'll be worth more than if I just cheap you out on a digital product.
You know, the more we've been speaking, the more I can see you driving towards that next phase of your business, which is dropping the course and dropping the coaching program.
But I don't know about coaching. because
how do you delineate the difference between coaching and dropping a course?
I feel like, oh, what? But on what? Like on how to sell real estate?
Yeah, I mean, like
The thing is,
what would your course, right? What would your
it'd probably
course
be
teach?
branding yourself as an agent. Like I feel like you don't. Yes, you sell real estate, but you sell yourself more than anything. Like people don't come to me and say, "Oh, I really like the house." Yes, that's part of it, but they could have easily just walked into or reached out to any agent. But they go like, like, I like your personality. You can tell you care. Like you sell yourself. But I also think people cheap out on like the work. So what I think of is like on TikTok, like I closed 10 in the last 2 months or whatever it was. It's
Say
true,
less.
huh?
Say less. That's awesome.
Yeah, but well, I just closed 4 yesterday, so like
You
that
closed
15.
4 yesterday?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I literally
That's a shit ton of confetti.
it was, but I was going into my bank because I paid for my clients' movers because I sold the property. I was like, dude, I'll cover the movers. Don't worry about it. So I went in to like Zelle them, and I was like, oh shit, because all the checks hit. Escrow just wired them within an hour. I got paid on all of them, and I was like, nice. And
Fuck yeah.
yeah, it was cool. But I feel like everybody sees the success
Right.
and they kind of are just like, oh, like that's so cool, like good for you, I'm gonna go get my license. But I also don't think they see like the first year.
Yeah,
That
or the
was,
second year.
yeah.
Now you're an anomaly though. You know that, right? Cuz like
You always say that, but I don't really get what that means.
so it just means that you're outside of the norm.
Mm.
So there's a concept called the Pareto principle, right? Where it says 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
Right.
In real estate, it's actually 95-5. 5% of the people do 95% of the business. And then
Interesting.
within that 5%, there's
Mm-hmm.
another principle. There's another 5-95 split, where within the 5%, the top 5% do 95% of the work of that.
Oh, I get what you're
And that
saying.
you can continue to delineate. You're like 3 layers deep to where people don't do what you did, especially not in your cohort,
Am I what?
in people in your age group.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, so like people in your age group, there's and it sucks to say, but like there's not the work ethic,
Right.
there's not the ganas, there's
Yeah.
not the grit, right? Like you have some innate qualities that most people just don't have. I mean, there's people who have been in the industry and it's taken them, for myself, 10 years I've been in this. And like you're probably like where I was at in 8 years, like 9 years,
Yeah.
you know, and you figured out this system with social media to produce leads and produce content.
Right.
And there's a saying that I tell my guys when they ask me questions and I'm coaching them, and I go, oh, I have my black belt in sales. That's why I can answer and pivot and do everything.
Right.
It's like in jiu-jitsu, if someone makes one move, I know how to counter it. And then I know how to go layers deep to where I can make a sale based on 3-4 steps down the line. I can predict what the customer's going to say to what I'm saying, so I can backtrack. If I say X, my original statement, I'll make it based on their response.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And that takes years to develop. There's shit you post that like Harvard Business Review has done studies on, and you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like crowdsourcing. I told you, whenever you make a poll,
Mm-hmm.
that's called crowdsourcing, where you're trying to figure out like what the audience likes and what your customer base would like, so that you can develop a product towards exactly what they prefer.
Right.
And then you're doing this shit on social media. You're doing this shit on TikTok and
it
Instagram.
it just makes sense, but I think it's because I'm very consumer first.
Right.
Like I think a lot of people on social is like, this is what I want to talk about, this is what I want to show, this is how I want to do it, I want to be the face, and all my stuff is like completely opposite.
Right.
Like I'm literally, what would a buyer want, what would a seller want, what would an agent want? Like it's them first and then they like you, because
Right.
honestly nobody cares what I actually do unless they benefit from it.
For sure that comes off in your content.
Yeah, like
Where
people know. Yeah.
you're like the person that's like protecting them,
Mm-hmm.
and you have like a trusting persona that radiates off the camera.
I get what you're
It's
saying.
like I told this to my niece. I was right before this call. I was telling her
Mm-hmm.
my nephew Cruz. I was like, I have like a certain affinity for him because he's like this innocent little boy, and he's like 3. And she goes, "Well, he's 3," and I go, No, it's different because like my daughter's 4.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have that aura. My daughter has an aura of a fucking psycho. She's a great kid. She's loving. She's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't. When you look at her, you don't go, "That's an innocent little girl."
I get what you're
Cruz
saying.
has that,
Okay.
and so people give off this persona,
Mm-hmm.
and your aura, and like I don't know, it sounds weird, like white girl energy, but your energy comes off as very protective, loving, and like genuine. And I
Yeah.
think that radiates in all of your videos.
Yeah. But I also credit a big amount of my success to that because my clients say that, like, literally, when they eventually during the process, like I see them so much or whatnot, and they just will eventually bring up my social media and they'll tell me like, oh, I could just tell you really cared. Like I
Right.
could tell you actually worked hard and you cared about your clients. Um, I have clients that like cry, like they when we close, like we'll hug and they'll cry and they'll just be like, "Thank you so much. Like you don't understand like what you've done," and I feel like that is nicer than thinking of like, "Oh, I'm gonna go make a check,"
Right.
and so I think people get lost in that
Once you
because
stop caring about the check and you care about the human, it
yeah,
gets easier and you just fucking explode.
right. That's what I was telling the team, and I was like, if you take care of your people, everything else will be taken care of.
It's hard when you don't have business though. Like if for like the 99% of the agents and loan officers
Mm-hmm.
that aren't funding 5 deals, 10 deals a month,
Mm-hmm.
they their one deal is a paycheck. Like that's how they feed their
Oh, I get what
family.
you're saying.
That's how they put gas in their car.
But
That's
I
how they pay for groceries. Like
but I also feel like those people don't put in the work to go get five more.
they
Like
don't know how.
no, they just don't do it.
No, they don't know how.
Everybody knows how to go talk to people and tell them, "Hey, I'm a
No,
realtor, I'm a loan officer."
no, that's the hardest lesson I've learned. They don't know how. These people, for you, it's innate. It's an innate quality that you have because you're coming from a good place, and you're
Right.
coming from a place of abundance because you figured out, if I do this, if I pull on this lever,
Mm-hmm.
then this is the result. There's
I
an
get what you're saying.
experiment when cocaine was developed. A rat figured out that they can press a button and cocaine would dip, and they can press another button and food would drop. And what would happen is the rat always chose the cocaine button until he died. There was a
Um.
push, there was a cause and effect. You figured out early on, if I push this button,
Mm-hmm.
I get clients. And then those clients yield a result, which is I get paid. Now, there's a whole nother back end to like what happens before you're able to push that button, which is what people don't know how to do.
I feel like people are just too scared to push the button.
And
Like, like I know that sounds, and maybe I'm just because it's worked, so maybe I am coming from. But if you scroll all the way down, like on my Instagram, there's a video of me literally in my room. Lights are off. It's like the worst, whatever. And I'm just like, these are the three things you need to buy a house. That was it. And I had no following. So it was literally, I remember it was my sister in law, my brother, my sister, and I think like maybe two friends that reposted it. And that was enough to be like, oh, you guys didn't laugh at me. Like I wasn't a weirdo. Like, okay, that's cool.
yeah,
And then I did a house tour and then it just kind of went from there.
yeah, and it just
But,
started as
right.
snowball.
So I feel like some people just overthink it. And I think it's just like, just do it and then learn about it and then get better. But I also think you could generate all the leads in the world, but if you don't know how to sell or you don't know how to find people's motivation, you can't. And I figured that out by starting this team
Right.
because I was like, I could take 12 calls and I'll set 7 appointments. Like, that's pretty good. They could take, I broke down one of their numbers. They did 50 calls and they set 1 appointment and they spoke to 20 people. So then I was like, okay, what was it? And so we went back and reviewed some of his calls and they just struggled with asking for the appointment.
Right.
Like, they were just kind of like, here's everything you
Asking
need.
for the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'll send you homes and that's it. And you don't get a verbal commitment or you don't listen to. And so everything he got on the call wasn't wrong, but he just didn't dig deep enough. We found out that everything he was sending him was wrong because he actually wanted to stay in Orange County.
Right.
Right. So he can afford Orange County, but he was pitching the idea of like, oh, you could get more out here. But he wasn't listening to any. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too.
What?
But I think that's why my work ethic used to be through the roof. Now it's a little bit less.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that.
Because it's what Daniel G said at Forward. He's like, when you first start, like you do 100 calls, and then you maybe get one sale, and then you get in that second stage, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now I can do 70 calls, and I'll get 3 appointments, and then you get to the point where you do like 20 calls, and you get 5. So it's like, okay, all I need is 20. But if I would have kept the same work ethic, then yeah.
Yeah, then you would have been those 100 calls. If you did 20 to 3 appointments and you multiply that by 5, you got 15 appointments.
Yeah, but that was painful. There was a time where I was working. It was like a lot. It was, yeah.
The one thing people don't do in this industry and don't realize is that this is like a full-time thing. Like,
Yeah.
if people treated real estate, the one thing I'll give you where they don't do it, no one treats this like a 9 to 5 job. James can attest. I'm here at 8 a.m. every fucking day. Like,
I know you work like a dog.
and I leave at 7:30 to 8. And I do 12-hour days. And then I work weekends. And like,
Yeah.
that's because I have 13 people underneath me that I have to carry, plus my family.
You don't get like
Anxiety through the roof sometimes. Dude,
Yeah.
I told myself this week 3 times, I shit you not, you cannot have a stroke. Like, I was like on my laptop, like, oh, fuck, I think I'm going to die. And then I was like, no, stop. And it's just a panic attack from being overly
sorry.
anxious.
Yeah.
But that's just normal. And then I had this realization because I looked up in the sky and I was like, God, that's enough. I've hit my bandwidth of what I can tolerate as far as stress goes. I need results now.
Right.
And dude, CTC fundings. We had I think we had 2 fundings today.
Dude, I got chills right now.
And then
that's crazy.
I posted it on the group.
Oh, you're right. I love
posted
that.
it on the group, and then I was like, okay. And then here's the crazy part. Afterwards, I got this overwhelming feeling that said, okay, I got you out of this, but the test was to see how far I could take you.
I love that.
And now you know your limit.
Yeah. And
so right now you're playing with hundreds of thousands of dollars and $10,000 on the line and a few $100,000. And the next thought in my head, out of nowhere, was, what are you going to do when the pressure is in the millions?
Right.
How are you going to handle that? So I countered with, well, when the pressure is in the millions, I will have the millions. So the stress is a little different.
Right.
But I believe that success, and whether you can do 5 deals a month or 10 deals a month or 100 deals a month, is simply based on how much pressure you can handle. Because you're like a kid that, what you just said, right? I was working. That was what you just said. I was working. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So you're like a kid who touched the stove and got burned, and then his mom goes, go cook some eggs. He's going to be like, the fuck? I literally just got burned. How the fuck am I going to go cook some eggs?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to touch the stove again.
Right. Yeah, it's painful. Like 5 deals a month, it's nice, but it's also like that's it. It's your 5 deals. I don't know what it is, but I think it's 5 deals plus obviously keeping it going for the next month.
Right.
So it's just yeah. So I definitely eased off, but now I'm kind of like, I had 63 for this year. I want to erase it and put 100.
Yeah.
But that's just my morning motivation.
And then it dwindles out throughout the day. one bag of Flaming Hots, and then you're like,
I have those on deck. I think I have 2 at my office.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna switch those to Takis better, but
yeah, no, I don't know. Business is crazy.
It's so fun. You don't even know like what's next. So you got into the industry at the worst possible time.
That's what everybody's saying, but that like.
No, you don't understand.
I'm just naive enough that it just doesn't make sense to me, because regardless if I'm in the best or the worst, like, you do the same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some statistics. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, there was about 2 million total transactions, including refinances and mortgages. So
in
purchases and refinances in the United States.
Oh.
In 2023.
Only 2 million?
Yeah. Transactions, okay. Right? So, or originations. There are 9.5.
Isn't there like 50 million people in California?
There's 300 million people in the United States.
Okay.
There's 30 million people in Southern California alone.
There's 3 million?
30.
Okay.
But like all of the middle of the United States doesn't have anybody.
But how? Okay, I'm gonna stop questioning. Go
No,
ahead.
question it.
Why only 2 million the entire?
Because no one was doing transactions
Oh, this year,
in 2023,
last year.
last year.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in 2024 now, right?
Okay.
All right. There are 9.5 million people sitting at mortgage rates between 4.5% and 7%. There are 6 million people with mortgages sitting at, I think it's 5.5% and above. So when you think about all transactions done over the last 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
most of them had massive DTI caps, meaning their debt to income was maxed out, absolutely maxed out. How many
Okay.
deals did you have where we're trying to pinch for pennies,
Oh yeah, a lot.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, those people have no equity, but
Right.
what's happened is there's been no supply in the market
Right.
because everyone's sitting at low rates. But they also went through an appreciation rate over the last 4 years, so since 2020.
Right.
But those people, what I'm starting to see is those people are like, we don't care about our 2% rate anymore. Like, I get it. We took a 10% HELOC and now our blended rate is like 5.5%. So what you're gonna have when rates dip to about 5.5 is about 9.5 million new homes hit the market.
You think so?
Yeah. You have 9.5 million new homes. Either they're gonna trick, for me, it's hit the market because they're either gonna list or they're gonna want to refinance.
I get what you're saying.
That's the trigger point.
Which is
Now,
true, because most of my sellers, they all, even though they did have lower rates, they just wanted bigger or better or nicer or newer. Yeah.
but
So I
now
get that.
here's where the real fun part is. You ready? There's
Yes.
gonna be about 4 times the business, and there's half of the people left in the industry.
Why half?
60%. I don't know for realtors. I'm sure it correlates. 60% of all loan officers left the industry in the last 2 years. So if we had 10 people in this room, 6 of them left, and there's only 4 of us left,
Oh, that's gonna be
and the business is
fun.
going to go up 4 times.
That's gonna be real fun.
It's going to be insanely fun. And then for you, who has the big following, who has all these people who haven't been able to get into homes because they've been outpriced,
Right.
now it gets really crazy. And you're also hitting the point where your buyers that started with you 3 years ago, well, people typically stay in their house for 5 years. Well, right at about that 5-year mark is going to be when everything starts kind of rolling again,
Right.
and all those people start to sell to upgrade. And I would assume that most of the like demographic that you're selling to is probably people in their 20s and 30s.
It is.
And then those are the people that start having kids, getting married, getting divorced, and those are the people that move the most.
Yeah.
So your business is
I
about to
would be
like.
sad if they call me saying they're getting divorced.
I sent you a divorce couple ready to list.
That was
Did they sell
no.
their house?
No. She's trying to buy him out.
Oh, it's not gonna happen.
And the mom is gonna help. I don't know. Well, I went to a divorce listing appointment like last week, and I was like, "Oh, this is
Tense.
yeah." They don't even look at each other. The guy was like, "Okay, like good, like let's sign the contract." I flipped the contract over, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm good." And she called me, and she looks at him, and she's like, "I want to think about it." And I'm like, I like laugh at everything, so I bit my lip, and I said, "Yeah, no worries." But I think because he agreed so quickly, it was more so of like kind of a petty move more than anything.
Yeah.
But
Holy shit.
yeah, I mean, I checked in. She never answered my call back, so I don't know. But yeah,
How many times did you call her back?
once. Well, because if somebody's like, I don't know, like I'm good with or without it. That seems a little
Yeah.
bit too tense for me.
Yeah. Divorces are hard.
Yeah,
They're super hard. I've had like divorcees sign in 2 separate rooms.
I'm sure.
So I've had a pre-2020, I had to bring them in. And like the deal for her to allow the husband to buy the house was that he notarized a letter to let her take the kids to Mexico for vacation. And so I had to get a notary and coordinate her signing an interspousal grant deed, simultaneously him signing the letter to allow the kids to go to Mexico.
What? That was his requirement?
That was his
That's kind
requirement.
of cute, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. There's some fun. You meet some fun people.
It's so
For sure.
fun. I wanted to ask you, because you said you talked about You said Instagram is where you generate leads,
Right.
but you're more active on TikTok.
Recently, yeah.
So, like, how do you differentiate? Like, I'm assuming TikTok's more fun to post on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why you default more towards TikTok. Because when
Yeah.
I look at your TikToks, it's more personable. Like, it's more
Yes.
like you just kind of talking to the camera and like, oh my God, I almost lost my $10,000 commission check. Spoiled.
I know after I posted that, I was like, I'm either going to get extreme backlash, but I dedicated my TikTok to just documenting my journey.
Gotcha.
Like I was kind of having I did it at first to kind of just be like, yeah, like TikTok. At first, originally TikTok was for me to generate leads. I generated a handful. I probably have close to 2 TikTok leads.
Okay.
And then it slowly just became me wanting to show more of like myself and my business. And since Instagram generates me a good amount of business, I was just like, I'm just going to document it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, like, I don't care. Because I think like 30 years down the line, when I'm like 50, maybe not 50, maybe 30, I can look back and be like, oh, I was so little. And I'll randomly do it. Like, I'll randomly go down and I'm like, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the goal is to be on Forbes. I don't know how, but like when I'm on Forbes, I'll be able to go back. And
There's
be
an
like, "There you go."
argument for you to be in the 30 under 30 already.
How is there an argument?
Dude, I bet you if James, can you look this up on Google? Average top 1% income earners at age 22.
Oh, that's what you meant, argument. No, but I think you have to like do something special. Like you have to like do something great.
Dude, you're going to build your next phase of building a coaching program. Let's see. According to Smart Asset of July 24th, an annual income of at least 787,000 is required to be in the top 1% of income earners in the US. This is a 20% increase from the previous year. But no, okay, by age range. Okay, top 1% for your age group, 20 to 24. How much do you think it is?
400,000.
How much?
Wait, top 1%?
Top 1%. Meaning 100 people, the top one.
Out of 100, top one. Probably I don't know, maybe 7. Maybe half. Let's say 500,000.
500,000?
Yeah.
129,000.
To be 1%?
Top 1% of your age group, because that's how you accommodate for it. You can't compete against me, right? Like,
right.
Because my group, 30 to 34, is 468 for the top 1%, and the top one. Fuck, I gotta step up my game because when I turn 35, it jumps to $1 million, which is fine. We'll beat that, but that's yearly salary. But to be in the top 10%, right? So what we were talking about Pareto, top 20,
right.
Top 10% for your age group, 64,000.
Top 10?
Top 10. For my group, it's 230, right? Make that in the month. But
you make that in a month?
No.
Oh, I was like,
next month. Well, next month is on pace to be my
biggest month.
Yeah, I was supposed to have it this month, but it looks like a bunch are gonna fall into next month.
Nice.
But I have 9 mil on the books right now. I get one more. I cross 10 mil for August. But that means I realize I need to have 12 mil in the books in order to hit 10 mil.
Oh, got it.
Because there's going to be drop-offs. But a lot of I got fucked on 3 deals that I was telling you about.
Right.
That was about maybe 1.5 mil, so nothing crazy.
Yeah. No, I thought when I had this goal in my mind to hit 50,000 in a month, and I thought, hell yeah, let's go on vacation. And I hit it, and it was just like, you gotta it didn't feel right for me to hit it at that point.
Okay, so that's where you have the differentiating factors. That's where you're different than everybody else. There's very few people who can say that. So I remember clearly my first boss told me, dude, when I interviewed with Ross Thomas, he goes, I would made 67,000 or something. It was like 67 or 76,000. But there was a 7 and a 6 in there in 2 weeks, and I made like $100,000 in a month. And I was like, that's a lot of money that I couldn't even, at the time, I couldn't even imagine it. And I was 26.
Right.
And then I made 120 grand that year, my first year in lending. And then I met Tom Jarboe. And then I was in an interview with Tom Jarboe, and he goes, the hardest thing for you to do
Mm-hmm.
is going to be to wake up and go to work the next day after you get a 50, 60, $70,000 commission check. He goes, I have a commission check of 234,000 for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, try going to work the next day. He goes, I did, but try going to work. And that moment with Tom always stuck with me, which I'm going to beat that motherfucker. But like when I had my first like 6-figure month, and I was just like, holy shit, that's a shit ton of money. But I never even looked at it. Like
Yeah.
I checked my checking account, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it went away like in the day, because I called my banker and I was like, hey, bro, can you just drop this in the market? And he's like, yeah, for sure. Like, and so I never even saw it. Like, and it never existed. And I don't even know where it's at now, because it's like it's somewhere in fucking Fugaziville in the marketplace. Like, it's just digits at this point.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's kind of sounds bad to say. Like I don't ever speak about this stuff. Um because I never normally have people to talk about it with, but it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Like I looked at it and I was like, cool. And then you just go back. Like when I had all the I think like 40 or 50,000 hit when they closed. And I looked at it and I was like, cool. And I just got off my car and went to show a house.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I don't know. It
It's
was
not the big feeling that you're expecting.
yeah. And I had this whole idea. I'm like, oh, once I hit this, I'm gonna take the family on a trip. And I said, I don't have time to go on a trip with y'all.
No, but you still do. You still want to do that.
I will, but
You
not
still
now.
want to do that. But to go to where this is different, dude. I have guys on my staff that if they get a commission check and they think, and I bet you they don't even know it. They'll know because they're gonna watch this
Mm-hmm.
if they get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll get paid,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't see them for 3 days.
Shut up.
Like they celebrate it different. Like they acknowledge it and they take it and they'll go, oh, I made 10 grand, and I'll see the work ethic change. And that's why most people in our industry have these ebbs and flows, because they'll get 10 grand
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be like, fucking hey. And
Right.
then it'll be like, oh shit, I have 2 grand left. Let me do what I know is necessary. And then they'll go make 10 grand again. And then it just
Right.
continually spikes and goes. Whereas what makes you consistent is you can make 4 escrows, which is at least 40 grand.
Right.
And you see that in your account and you go, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you bought a Snickers or like the extra large Flamas bag.
I did. $2.99.
See?
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I just know I'm still so far from my goal that it's
But the goalpost has moved.
I know. But I need to just hit the goal I at least set.
The goalpost has moved because you already see it. Like I already see it in your persona. Like I called it when you were just a baby, and I was like, "Oh, this chick's gonna fucking blow up."
Isn't that crazy? I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, was it a luck streak that they just said, "Yeah, you got it," or is it true that you guys saw something? There was only 2. It was you and Isis.
No, dude, from the get go.
Yeah.
Like I don't like people. So
Right.
then it was like, I was like, oh, this girl's got it. Like there's just something about you that we were able to see. Isis is dope.
Yeah. Well, I ruffled a lot of feathers when I started. Like I was pissing all my mentors off. And at first I didn't get it. I remember I was so sad. Like I would literally cry because I became before I became an agent, I would do wholesale. I was a junior acquisition. So that's where I credit my sales skills to, because I'd sit there and talk to 100 people. Anyways, and so I go in there like 2 weeks or maybe a month in, I'm like cold calling, I get a listing. It was a Spanish speaking seller, and then I got partnered with an agent, part of their mentorship program. I was like, yeah, I was supposed to do 50-50 to learn, right?
Yeah.
And my client was Spanish speaking. They partnered me with somebody that was not Spanish speaking. So I said, I'm not going to lose this listing because you don't know how to speak Spanish. And I was like, and I don't want to be a translator because 1, I'm a no sabo kid, and 2, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't want to translate the wrong thing. Like I didn't know the lingo. And that's how I met Isis. I like begged Isis to do this listing presentation with me. And we had the seller come to the office, which is funny. He comes in and we sit down. Isis is like dying of allergies. And she told me, she's like, I'm going to have to step out because like my nose is running. I'm like, okay, cool. And so she leaves. I'm like going over comps with him, and he is like, "Oh well, like what do you think?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like whatever the numbers say, that's what I think. And he looks at me. He's like, "Okay, cool. I just have to talk to my wife." And I was like, "Sounds good." And I'm like putting all the papers together, and he goes, I knew you were young and knew it, right?" And I was like, "Oh, all right." He's gonna drop that, and he was just like, "But," he was like, "the fact that you'd followed up and you kept your word, I want to work with you because of that. And like, I understand you're new, but I'm working with you." And I was like, "Cool." And he like left, and then I called him the next day, and he's like, "Yeah, come on over, like we'll sign everything." It's my first listing. And because when I called him, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to Mexico, or like call me in 2 weeks or whatever." And I would follow up, and I guess he appreciated that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so during that transaction, as a backstory, I was like hot. I was like, "Oh, I got a listing. I'm gonna go get 5 more," because I was like, if I just cold call and I talk to these people, I'll get another one. That was my mentality, right? So I was like,
Right.
frick it, I got one. This isn't as hard as people make it seem. In my head, I thought that then it was like a rude awakening. But she was just like, if you keep moving like that, you're gonna get sued. And I was like, why would I get sued? Like, I'm just trying to help people sell their houses. And she was just somebody that was very by the book. She'd maybe do 10, 13 deals a year, and that was my mentor. So I think my personality was a little bit too aggressive of like, I'm going to go do this because I'm going to go do this.
Right.
So long story short, tell my broker, I have to do the deal with her, They partner me with somebody else that supposedly speaks Spanish. Same thing. We're at the listing presentation. I'm like, I don't know what it was that day, but that feeling, I have never gotten it again. I'm coming from an open house. I'm walking this listing presentation. I think it's because my outfit was cute. And I'm walking and I feel good. Like, I don't know what it was. And my mentor has a CMA, and we're talking to the client or the seller, and he's like showing us around the property. I'm just yapping with him and then speaking Spanish. And then we get back to like go over the listing presentation, and my mentor hands me the folder, and she's like, "You do it because he's not going to understand me." Mind you, I have never done a listing presentation. I only saw what ISIS did for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I open it, and she had this whole book, like this whole 500 pages of just how to sell a house. And I skipped through all of them, and I went to the comps and I said, "This is what your house is worth. This is whatever." And then he was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Cool, we got it." But the son was the one on title, not him. So then we had to go back for the son to sign. When we're with the son, for some reason I stepped out. He goes, "Oh, like who are you?" to my mentor. And she goes, "Oh, I'm here because she doesn't know anything." And he looks at her and is like, "What do you mean?" Their brother was an agent. So everything that we were telling them, they'd go back to him like, "Hey, is this good? Hey, is this good?" And so he went back to him. The brother calls me and is like, "Hey, do you have like a mentor, or are you part of a team?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he was like, "I should have looked you up before I told them that everything sounded fine." And then he goes, "I just feel like it was counterproductive that they said that, it makes us look bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sucks." And when he said it, like my heart sunk, because I was like, dude, like I can't catch a break with these fucking people. And long story short, it was like this big thing, and then they pulled me. I had to finish the deal with her, and I was sitting in front of like the one that managed all of that. And she goes, "Okay, well, you guys have to work as a team and get this closed." And I was like, "Okay, well, we're like a week out from closing." And then she just said, "You guys just opened escrow." And I was like, "Well, that tells you how involved she is on the file." But I was doing everything with the brother that was an agent. That's how I was able to get through it, because he knew what we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So that was that. So they pulled me out, then I joined a team, and then I went on my own. So my
Holy
first
mackerel.
couple deals were hell.
Yeah.
I literally called ISIS one day and I was like, "I'm gonna quit. Like, I'm not doing real estate." And she was just like, "These motherfuckers." Like, she went, yeah. So she was a rock in the beginning.
She's amazing.
She's funny. She
Yeah.
cracks me up. But yeah, so that was that. That was the story.
Dude, that was intense. My heart's racing a little bit.
Why? Yeah, I don't know what it was. And now I think back about it, and I was like, I probably went in with this. Oh, and so my first mentor told my second mentors, like, be careful with her. She has a lot of energy. She's going to get you in trouble. And I was like, why are you guys saying, like, first of all,
They're
we closed the
jealous.
deal.
They're petty white bitches.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
You
bad.
can leave that in there.
Yeah, it was bad.
No, they're all like the people in our industry, especially the older ones, they're all fucking catty.
They're
They're-
bad.
dude,
I can't even.
They're all jealous fucks. Like
Yeah.
it's why I left Tom. It's why I left my mentor, because I was just like, dude, he just kept shooting everything down. Dude, I remember my first video I did in 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a Facebook ads course, And then I was like, hey man, I'm gonna do Facebook ads, I'm gonna post. And then he was like, don't do that. That shit doesn't work.
Dude, isn't that crazy?
And then I was like, all right. And then there's a guy, uh, fuck, I don't even know his last name, but his name's Juan. I call him Those Guys because we were gonna start like this little video thing where I was one guy and he was Those Guy, and we were gonna be the Those Guys, and we were gonna market and
Hey,
like
I
do
kind of
this.
like that.
Yeah, and it was fucking funny. And we did a video at a taco shop and we talked about real estate while we were eating tacos.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know what the fuck. I shot it on like a Samsung Galaxy S7 or some shit.
Dude, you should have
And
kept at
I
it.
have it. I have the video. No, and then I did like a T-Man Talks one day and I was like, and then Tom would just be like, dude, what are you doing? Like that stop it. Stop it. And then when I started doing Facebook ads myself, because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, we got to go after the internet. We got to go after the internet. He was just like, no, it doesn't work. You got to do agent business, agent business. Then I booked a huge real estate brand called Excellence Real Estate,
Mm-hmm.
where the broker, I told him, I go, hey, I'm pretty new in LA. Like, I want to work with all your agents. I actually appreciate that you're taking all the like super Hispanics
Right.
and like giving them jobs in real estate. Like, I love that.
Right.
And so Michael Yoke goes, me caes bien. He goes, I like you, me caes bien.
Mm-hmm.
Give me $500 a month and I'll let you have access to all of Excellence Real Estate.
Did you do it?
And I was like, well, at the time I had no money. So I went to Tom and I was like, hey man, like Excellence is offering me this opportunity. What do you think? He goes, that guy's a scammer. Don't do it. And I was like, okay. And now I'm like, oh, that was my, like, I would have been leaps and bounds ahead
Had you done it?
had I done it. And it wasn't until like I just started doing these pay to plays where I just go to agents and I go, hey, let's co-market together. Let's buy internet leads and let's start doing stuff together.
So that's what started that?
What started it is I did one of my buddies from college
Mm-hmm.
bought a house and then he found an agent, like found them through like a Facebook lead.
Mm-hmm.
And I had referred him to one of my agents in San Diego. He fired my agent in San Diego. So he goes, hey, I met this dude. The dude that he introduced me to, James Pitts, was a intern at a real estate team. So then James is like a veteran and smokes weed, and him and I get along great. So him and I connected through the transaction. I did a CalHalf loan
Mm-hmm.
for the buyer. And then they were really impressed. So they introduced me to their team lead. And then I went to the team lead, and the team lead goes, 1,500 if you want to be our lender. And I was like, fuck. At the time, I was like, 1,500 a month.
Yeah.
Mine, I was like 28. And I was like, fuck. I go, I can do it because I just sold some Bitcoin. I was early in it. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. And then that's how it started. And actually, credit to that team because they taught me how to use a CRM. They taught me about online leads. They took me under their wing. They taught me how to go from being like a newbie lender to like being a good lender, and then that just exploded my
That's
brand.
what got you going?
Yeah.
That's dope.
But now, like, the reason for all this rebrand is like I fucking hate real estate agents. Like, I fucking hate them.
They're hard. I've learned that they're difficult. Like this, yeah.
Dude, like
I love the ones that are just easy. It's like, all right, we're a team, let's get this done. And then there's some that are just like, it's not that serious.
Dude, I sent a message this morning. I go, the difference between a good and bad transaction is if we collaborate on this.
Right, right. Like I don't know what it is, but some listing agents or buyer's agent, they think you're against one another.
Yeah, they want to
And
fight.
it's like, and then I hate the ones that make you seem like the bad guy. And then you kind of, okay, I took a page out of your book. I got not aggressive, but I was just like, I just don't respect people that don't keep their word. Because you know how how LA County and all these got hacked?
Yeah.
And so my closing got pushed back a day and then I had to close on the replacement property a day. So I was 2 days and I had a 3-day SIP. But on the SIP, she put July 25th. This just happened, so I'm still mad. It was July 25th. They had to be out by 5 p.m. But I had the 3 days, right? So if we closed on the 23rd, essentially it'd be the 26th, right? Okay. But because of all of that, the Microsoft outage, whatever, closings got pushed back. I'm like, hey, I'm going to send you an updated SIP just because this one has, an SIP is when they can stay in the property. Yeah. I said, just because this one has a date, I just want to make sure we're covered. She's like, yeah, we're good. No big deal. That was the day on Monday when everything was like, nobody can close. And she's like, okay, cool. Come Tuesday, we're barely closing on the main house. And then I go, hey, I still haven't received the SIP from you guys. We're like set to close later today. And she goes, she calls me and she was like, oh yeah, buyers aren't gonna sign it. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, no, they want to get the house to 25th. And I'm like, do you not understand? I'm gonna have 24 hours for my clients to move out a 3,000 square foot home into a senior community. Like, what do you mean? And she just was just like, no. And I was just like, that's just so crazy that you guys can't have grace with my clients. Like, they gave them 18,000, 19,000 in credit, washer, appliances, like almost every repair they wanted except some stuff. But it was just like, all right, dude. And it was the first time that I actually got mad and like didn't bite my tongue with this. No, I didn't say anything bad. And she was like, I don't understand why you're angry. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why you can say one thing yesterday and now you want to change up. And I mean, cool, you're right. You do have the right. I'll get them out the 25th at 5. She's like, well, I'm just trying to find something that works. And I said, unless you guys sign that SIP, nothing's going to work. So I'm going to end this call because I need to figure out how to get my clients out. And she was just like, wow, she's like, you're being very unprofessional right now. And I was like, I'd rather be called unprofessional and have my word than to be a woman with no word. And I did what you did. You know, I didn't do it, but I always think about it. When you look up their numbers, she
Oh
sold
yeah,
one deal in the last year. And I was like, all right, makes sense. Then I had
dude.
grace because I was like, now I get why you were so obsessed with this.
Yeah, because that, again, that goes to their only paycheck.
Right, right.
Dude, I'll hit them with like, dude,
Yeah, I'm not savage
I
enough
get
for
it.
that.
Like, dude, what you're doing right now. Listen, I closed this your whole year in a week, so
Mm-hmm.
cut it out. Like, dude, I got one with an appraisal that was like 20 grand low,
Mm-hmm.
25 grand low.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, we don't miss appraisals by that much, and I'm just like, well, y'all fucking priced this wrong. Like,
Right.
and you guys are putting pressure on us. I was like, listen, the appraiser is a third party person and it's a VA. So I can't even fucking order a VA appraisal. Like, it's not my guy. It's not Rodney
Mm,
that's going out. It's
right.
a fucking VA appraiser that's going out. You
Right.
guys obviously did the wrong thing. Now, you guys are lucky that I do so many that I know how to challenge this and I'm going to get the value up. But calm down. Like,
Yeah.
holy macro. And then I'm like, dude, I'm doing 30 transactions over the next 2 months. Calm down. I'm going to get it to close. I have some pull.
Right.
I had one
Y-
where we had docs. There's a whole like solar thing at the end that went sideways on the funding.
Oh shit.
And then I was like, and then they're like, we need to get docs out, blah, blah. And I go, everyone stop. This is the plan and this is how it's going to happen. And then when my agent calls me, she's like, you got it? I was like, how many have I pulled off for you? And they're like, okay.
Yeah, I think people just freak out for no reason
Dude,
sometimes.
it's their one paycheck for the next 6 months.
Yeah. It's a lot. For some people, I guess.
They're all gone after this. If this NAR settlement thing goes out, they're all
I
gone.
wonder how bad. I don't know. I genuinely don't think it's a big deal, but some people make it seem like a bigger deal than it is.
None of you guys see the play. Like, the person who funded the lawsuit was Zillow.
Huh?
Zillow funded this lawsuit on the back end.
Oh, well, because Zillow's trying to come for
The
agents now.
the guy who is the CEO of Zillow
Mm-hmm.
started Expedia because he wanted to get rid of
Oh, like
the
flight.
travel insurance
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
This was trying to get rid of the real estate agent.
Right.
We are months to a year or 2 years away to where there's a buy now button on Zillow.
Yes, but do you really think people, maybe like my little sister will do that? But I think about like my parents or my uncles, they're not going to go and click buy now or
Right.
sell now.
But you're thinking of today.
Well, I'm not worried about
All those people are going to start to get filtered out.
that's next generation's problem.
You're in the next generation. How you think real estate is going to be in person in 10 years?
To a certain extent.
You have to, the way you prep, and I'm proud of you because again you do so much without knowing.
Mm-hmm.
You're already pivoting. You're pivoting to your coaching program, to your course.
Right.
That it's going to be tough for AI to take that. And then you're going to be able to incorporate it into your business, but you're teaching people how to make money.
Right, but I think the thing that combats AI, which a lot of people state, is relationship. Like, yeah, AI could do everything we can, but there's a reason why people work with you versus them naturally. So how do you
Said
compete with
every
AI?
small business until Amazon said we do 2-day shipping.
Oh, that's true.
And then you have a subscription, and you can
Well, then you just use it
Zil-
to help you grow.
buying a house is going to be the same thing as ordering headphones on Amazon.
That's actually probably true because they could just give you all your payments and how much money you need.
Yep, it's gonna hit buy now.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna click buy now. It's gonna say submit your offer. This is a list price. You're gonna be able to buy a subscription, and then they're gonna give you they're gonna give you inside information like see the highest bid on our listing, and then you'll be able to create the bidding war within the system.
That's okay, smart.
And then they're gonna go, okay, offer submitted. Would you like financing? And then they're gonna log into a portal. It's gonna automate pulling their credit. It's gonna automatically pull the work number, which verifies income.
So
It's
what does
gonna
that
ask
mean?
them to upload, and Zillow's gonna close on the listing, close on the
I gotta
loan.
give it to them.
Yeah, no, shout out to them. They figured it out. They're gonna make. There's what, 1 million real estate agents, 1 million new Uber drivers. It's gonna make Uber hella cheap. Uber Eats is gonna be at your door like that. We literally have about 3 to 5 years to beat Zillow. Otherwise, it's
Well, we're not
over.
gonna beat them.
We're not. Well,
There's just
there's an argument to be made that they're gonna be able to say like, hey, this is a monopoly that you guys are trying to set up, so we have to break this whole shit up, or we have to stop it.
But you know, Zillow owns Follow Up Boss.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, they
And-
own all our data now.
Well, right. And if I think about it, my clients look at Zillow over my One Home. So
Yeah, every time.
yeah.
No,
So I give it to them.
Yeah, no, shout out to Zillow. They figured it out. They're gonna crush everybody. Zillow, I'm competing. I'd never competed with Zillow Home Loans till this year. Now I'm competing with them all the time. They suck, and I'm taking their clients, and they do all the work for me, and then I just close. It's great, but like if you're not innovating and you're not, that's the one thing at Forward that they were talking about. Like, how do you beat AI? It's branding,
Right.
Going to what you said, a relationship, but relationships only matter until convenience and price can beat out the relationship.
I get what you're saying.
Before Zillow takes over all of our jobs and makes us all Uber drivers, if you want to sell or buy a home, get a hold of Angelica. Best in the game, best ever, best there ever was. Let them know how to get a hold of you.
You can reach me with all the links in the description.
And that was a Jay-Z reference.